Hello, hello. This is Jen with Usborne Books and More. In this video, I just want to show you a few of Usborne's educational books for kids. These are just a couple of my absolute favorites. It's hard to come up with favorites, and these are just the tip of the iceberg, but there are still quite a few here I want to show you. So these books are great just to have on your shelves for kids, for reference books. They're awesome for homeschool families as well as just to have in your home for your kids to have access to and be learning from. So the first one I want to show you is My First Story Writing Book. Really neat book for the budding author in your life. It goes through and has small bite-sized exercises for all sorts of different things, starting to get them ready to really write their own complete fictional story. So this page is learning how to describe things in unique ways. It takes them through story structure, it takes them through character building, just lots of exercises, tons of learning, really fun to do it as well. This one is $12.99. It goes really nicely hand in hand with our Not Your Everyday Illustrated Thesaurus. This is a really neat book, teaches kids tons and tons of vocabulary. It's arranged topically, so you kids can look for a topic as they're wanting to write a story and go through, and it will just give them a lot of ideas, not only imaginative cues to help them with their story, but also just new words to be introduced to. It goes through, it tells each one, whether it's an adjective, verb, noun, so on. All sorts of different topics, so many things, and there is also an index in the back, so if they're looking for a specific word, they can find it that way. Again, Not Your Everyday Illustrated Thesaurus. This book is also $12.99. So speaking of language and language development, I just have to show you one of the language books that Usborne makes. This is the first 100 words in Spanish. They have this in a lot of different languages. These are neat little books. Tons and tons of your first beginning words to introduce a new language to your kiddo. I like to use it with my son as a seek and find, and we're learning so many new Spanish words that way. And again, they have these in lots of different languages. These are $6.99. There is also a series called First 1,000 Words, once you've got these down, and you can keep moving and learning. This is Usborne's Children's Picture Atlas. I just love this book. It is amazing at starting to introduce these really difficult to grasp concepts for kids about the world and maps and culture and languages. Really, really neat. Beautifully illustrated. It talks about different landscapes and different people groups and cultures. And let me get you to a map here. The maps are just beautifully illustrated. So my 3-year-old, by reading this book, is really starting to understand the concept of different parts of the world and what it's like and how it's different there. Really, really just neat to start expanding a child's mind that way. Cool, cool book, $12.99. This is another of my favorites. This is the Children's Book of Art. This is awesome at starting to teach a kid a little art history. It starts with really early artists, and it just moves you through the ages and gives you small snippets about different artists. It shows you a couple examples of their art, and it just moves you through the different time periods. It talks about the influences of the culture on the art. A really, really neat one. Beautifully reproduced illustrations of the classics. This one is $14.99. Speaking of art, we have this one. This is a really cool activity type book. It's called This Is Not a Math Book, and it just shows how math intersects with our world in a lot of ways and how beautiful it can be. So it talks about all sorts of different concepts. It's a workbook. They give you different activities that kids can work through using math to create art. It's really, really neat, and it makes math fun for kids. I know I could have really used this when I was younger. This one is $14.99. Then I want to show you one of our encyclopedias. This is the first encyclopedia of science. I can't say enough good things about Usborne's encyclopedias. We have these in a lot of different topics. The single topic ones are only $9.99, and there is so much information in here. Tons of different topics of science. So this is gravity, gravity on other planets in orbit. Oh, here we have some anatomy, digestive tract, what happens to food. It breaks it down into bite-sized nuggets of information that children can really understand and grasp these concepts, and it's really, really just so much information in this book. We have the full children's encyclopedia as well. The other thing that's really cool about these encyclopedias is they have they're linked to QR codes, so if you have a smartphone, you scan that and up pops even more just depths of information to go along with what you're looking at. The full encyclopedia, let me find the topics page for you. It includes so much information, really things that kids just love to learn about. Our world, animals and planets, how your body works, history, how people live, science, how things work, space, and maps of the world. This is just an incredible overall reference book. Beautiful illustrations, and just lots of fun stuff that kids enjoy learning about. This is $15.99 for all of this information. Really a cool one. So again, that's just the tip of the iceberg, just a few of my absolute favorites. If you want to see any of them more in depth, just let me know and I'll get you hooked up. Thanks for watching.